Howdy, it's Jim Morado, and we are on our way to the Lowe Hotel in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. This is mid July 2021, and crossing over the bridge, going into town. And this is just one of my favorite little towns. It's weird if you're into ghosty stuff, if you're into folklore, and if you're into weird history and not weird history. This is just a great town. They've got a lot going on, and it's still a small town with a lot of small town charm. And we like going over there quite a bit. And on this particular trip, we actually stayed overnight at the Lowe Hotel, and that's the Lowe right there. And I believe it was built in 1901. It's been there for about 120 years. It's notoriously haunted. Yeah, it's just really neat. We stepped in. This was our room on this particular stay, and a really sweet couple owns and operates the place. A buddy of mine, I came over here probably a couple of years ago on one of my trips to Point Pleasant, and a friend and I stuck our heads in here briefly, and we talked to one of the owners, and he was just a really nice guy. I actually had a lot in common with him. He has lived some of his life in Cleveland, Ohio, and in Lexington, Kentucky, and those are the two towns that I've spent quite a big chunk of my life. So, anyway, I've wanted to stay here for a while. We actually had reservations right about the time COVID started, so that those plans got canceled. So anyway, I'm gonna show you around the hotel a little bit, talk about the hotel, talk about the town, talk about my personal experiences at the hotel. And we're on the second floor. There's almost like a half floor landing area, sort of between well, there's kind of the first floor, then there's this kind of little area here, and then there's the second floor. We actually stayed on the second floor. Really beautiful lobby. And when I think of, just neat little river towns, along the river, and hotels, this one really has an authentic feel to it. It feels very much like you're going back to 1920, 1930. This couch right here, I wanted to mention it. It was actually on the set of Bonanza. I don't think it was used in production. I think it was too big, but it was, if I understand correctly, the hotel was telling me that it does have a link to Bonanza. It was on the set, but I don't believe they actually ever used it in filming. I love Bonanza, and Haas, big fan of Haas. We actually watched Bonanza quite a bit, and I thought that was pretty cool, getting to check out a couch that was in Bonanza. And here's just a little sitting area at the hotel. There's several of these scattered throughout the hotel. And this is the second floor. We stayed in a room up on the right. And you go down these stairs and work your way down to the lobby. I wanted to say real quick too that this is a hotel. This is not a perfect hotel. If you want to stay in a flawlessly clean, 100% sparkling hotel, this is not the hotel for you. It's still very clean in my opinion. There was some dust in some corners, things like that. Nothing big, nothing to freak out over. But it has charm, and it has authenticity, and there's an informalness here too. In fact, the lady who runs and operates the hotel with her husband showed us around, and she showed us this kind of event room, and she goes, just come back in here later and check it out. And they kind of leave things open. They have a very casual vibe to them. We asked about check-in and check-out. When we got there a little early, and we said we had some other stuff to do, and we're like, when is check-in? And they're like, 4 or 5. And when we mentioned when is check-out, they said, don't worry about it, just sleep in, enjoy yourself, check out when you check out. And that's their attitude here. It's very casual. It's a couple, and I think a very small staff running this whole place, and I think they do a good job. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it's very authentic, and it has a very throwback feel to it. It's right on the river, and it's in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, home of the Mothman. If you're doing your Mothman pilgrimage, this is the hotel you want to stay in. It's very comfortable. Our room was very clean. Everything was nice. Like I said, if you look close, you'll notice a little dust here and there, but it's very clean. They take a lot of pride in what they do, and I would absolutely stay here again, and I'm sure we will at some point. And they've got some neat antiques kind of laying around here and there, like that Bonanza couch I showed you a moment ago. And I don't want to compare the hotel to a certain Stephen King movie that every weird haunted hotel gets compared to, but I did walk around one evening, and actually I did most of my filming the night we were there, kind of later, and it does have a very, well, I wouldn't want to be here alone for sure. It does have that kind of feel. This would be perfect for an episode of The Twilight Zone. The Point Pleasant kind of has that feel sometimes. This hotel has that feel. It feels very, it's weird. It's good and weird. If you're like I said, if you're doing your Mothman and weird West Virginia pilgrimage to this area, this is the place you want to stay. And if you keep, well, I'm okay now. I think I'm on the second or third floor. But if you keep going straight where we just were, there's actually a really, really nice art museum that the owners kind of run, and it's really nice. I mean, it's high quality stuff. They've got some paintings on loan. They've got some excellent local stuff. I did buy a pretty cool Mothman print while I was there. Yeah, so it's pretty neat. And I think right now, I think I'm on the third floor of the hotel, just kind of exploring. If you ever went to the original location of the Mothman Museum, it is basically in the hotel. It's on the same block. The hotel sort of takes up that whole block area. So, and as you can see, like I said, there's a certain isolated feel up here. And I could, as I walked past some rooms, I could tell that they had a pretty good, they had a pretty high occupancy rate this particular night. And I think Point Pleasant, I know several years ago I would take day trips here with buddies, and the town felt very dead. And I've even been to some of the Mothman festivals, some of the earlier ones that were, it was raining and people stayed home. I felt like I had the whole Mothman festival to myself. And if you've been to a Mothman festival over the last few years, that is just not the case anymore. It's a very major event. And I think Point Pleasant is just getting kind of, even on the weekends, there are road trippers, that want to come and check this place out. The last few times I've been here, the downtown area has been pretty hopping. And I've noticed a few new businesses opening downtown. So I'm really glad for them that that's going on. Also, there's a couple of businesses here in town that I like a whole lot. And I've mentioned before on my blog, KentuckyTravels.blogspot.com, and on other videos, that I really like the coffee grinder. And it is catty corner from the Lowe Hotel. You could stand in the doorway of the Lowe Hotel and throw a baseball at the coffee grinder. It's just a cute, very DIY independent coffee shop. And they're just always pleasant. They have Mothman cookies, which sell out very quickly. But they also have good coffee, and they have good lunches. In fact, on this particular day, they were doing a lunch in a bucket. It was like $7. And you got a fountain drink, chips, a cookie, and a nice sandwich or a wrap. And I ordered that because I thought that sounded good. My wife and I stopped there, and we got lunch before we hit the road to do some other stuff. And we wanted to take something kind of picnicky down to the park. There's a nice park in town too. And they actually served us the lunch in a bucket. Kind of a little kid's sand pail bucket that you might have had when you were young to play in the sand with. Which was kind of nice because we needed a bucket too. One of our cleaning buckets busted the other day. So that was convenient to get that bucket. But I like the coffee grinder a lot, and they're always so pleasant when we're in there. I love the Mothman Museum. I think it's still less than $5 to go through the Mothman Museum, and of course they've got a well-stocked gift shop, and I believe Jeff that runs it. I think he's opened up a couple of other similar shops in town, kind of selling pop culture stuff and Mothman stuff. So yeah, there's that kind of stuff. And here it is. Here's the Lowe Hotel right along the river. And I went down to the lobby at one point, and I was talking to a fellow. He introduced himself as Ralph, and he's related to the couple that own the hotel. I guess he's maybe helping out with it, but he was really friendly, and it was just nice chatting with him about the hotel and the area. And yeah, this is just the kind of place where it's just a nice place to stop by and visit. I wanted to give just a little bit more of an impression on the hotel. And actually, I'm going up to the 4th floor, and I swear I didn't really notice that sign as I went up. But yeah, they had this kind of 4th floor attic space, and just full of stuff. And I just stuck my head up there real quick, and I realized it was probably more of a personal, private area, and I did not look around too much. I felt like I was intruding, but yeah, I got to see the top floor of the Lowe there. Yeah, again, this is just, along with the Mothman, along with Point Pleasant, there's a certain weirdness here, and this hotel has so much character. It's again, yeah, right out of a Twilight Zone in some ways. I will say that our closet in our room that we had, it had unused wallpaper stored in it. They obviously were using that closet for storage, which is a bit odd. That's a bit strange, but again, it adds to the character. It kind of added to the whole vibe of the place. And there was also a stuffed baby doll in there. I don't know if somebody might have left that there or what, but there was a stuffed baby doll in our closet. So yeah, I mean, yeah, baby dolls, yeah, they kind of, a weird baby doll in a closet, that sort of goes along with an odd hotel. To me, it did add, just again, a little bit more to the weirdness. We did have great service, though. The lady that runs the hotel, we mentioned we'd like to have another set of pillowcases, because we like to double up on our pillowcases. And she actually came up while we went and explored, and took care of that for us. She actually double pillowcased our pillows for us, which was great. Going by the Mothman statue there. Anyway, we had a really good experience. I would totally go back here, just because it's such an interesting area and an interesting and historic hotel. But yeah, back on our way home, and I hope you enjoyed checking out the Lowe Hotel in Point Pleasant, West Virginia.